This MMA content is proudly brought to you by the AllStar app, a fully customizable ad-free sports experience. Download it now.
Yeah, man, let's just hop right into it, man. Last December you returned UFC 269. You came back, long layoff. We did a couple of interviews ahead of that, and you did a fantastic job, man. With everything that was going on ahead of that fight, and man, what have you been doing since then? That's the big question.
Since then, yeah, man, I've been back in the gym. Like I took a little time off, just because my knee was a little sore, and just to play it safe, I did some MRIs and things like that, and there were some like things that were partially torn, but it's nothing major, so they're good to go after like 6 weeks. So I've just been back in the gym. Um, I started doing like with some friends and colleagues, we started up like a COVID testing site, just because I'm so like connected with a lot of successful people. They have the infrastructure and everything, so we kind of went with that because there was some government funding and things like that, and we wanted to do a give back for the community. So we did 100% free test. You didn't have to have insurance either, and it was PCR or rapid test. I was doing that. I was super busy with that, kind of getting things going and doing my part. But then obviously I feel like things kind of, slowed down and kind of went away, and people just want to get out and live their life, which I totally understand. So we kind of scaled back on that. And I've been training, man. I've been wanting a fight. I've been asking the UFC for a fight. There was a few things that almost, came to fruition. I accepted it. I thought it was going to go down, and then for whatever reason, things did not follow through. So it is what it is. I'm just sitting here waiting.
Well, the rumors were flying around, right? Not too long ago about a fight with Max Holloway, a main event, later this year. Could you give us any details about that?
Yeah, the only thing with that was obviously, when Volkanovski, Max Holloway got injured and had to pull out. I was campaigning for that. That's a fight. Obviously, I want. I want to be a world champion, so I want to fight the best in the world, and Alexander Volkanovski is the best. So there was like a toss up. It was between the Zombie and I, and they went with him, of course. And then for this weekend's fight, the 26th, Sean was talking about, some type of main event. The guy got injured, so they needed a main event. I didn't even know who I would fight, but he said it would be for a title eliminator. I'm like, sign me up. Would it be ideal? No, 5 weeks, of course. But I've never said no to a good opportunity. So I said yes. That didn't follow through. And then I know they were just talking about Max and I fighting. Like, he's arguably one of the best featherweights of all time. And like I said, I want to be a world champion. So it's like, why not go straight to the source? You know what I mean? Then with a big win over him, they couldn't deny me a title shot. But I don't know. I think he's just waiting for, his shot, which I totally get. It's like I would do the same thing, but it's just like, man, I just want my opportunity, and it'll come regardless. So yeah, I have to see what Sean and Dana and the UFC wants me to do next, and yeah, we'll take it from there, I guess.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of fights that can
Yeah,
be put together in the next couple of months. In the summer, at the latest in the summer, right? For you, like you can't be sitting out too long.
I wanted to fight in March or April. That was my thing, and then as we got closer, I was like, damn, okay, I want to fight in April or May. But now it's with no with no word in sight. It's just like I don't know what to do. I always say yes. I always say yes. It's hard for me to say no. And even if it's an opportunity where it's, someone fighting, there's someone that's ranked behind me. I still say yes. I just want to stay active. I'm healthy. I'm getting older. Um, but it is frustrating. You know what I mean? Now it's like I want at least an 8 week notice of a date and who I'm fighting. So then I can have a hard 6.5 week camp. I don't feel like that's too much to ask for.
As well as, you probably want to get on that marquee too. You know what I mean? A main event against a guy that's ahead of you. That's probably the ideal situation.
Yeah, no, that would be ideal for sure. I feel like depending on the next opponent, it's like I could be one big win away from fighting for the title. And so it's like, of course I want to fight the best. I feel like I'm one of the best in the world. I want to prove it to, that I want to prove it to the world. I want to prove it to the people that don't know me or know who I am.
There were other rumors flying around about a matchup too at the top of that division between Ortega, who's sitting at 2, and Rodriguez, who's sitting at 3. They're likely, maybe, I don't know for sure, fighting in the summer. But both guys are coming off losses, man. Like, I feel like they should have just pitted those guys against, like, either you or Cater, or even, Arnold Allen, who's on a long streak himself. Does that fight even make any sense, Ortega versus Rodriguez?
I don't know. I feel like it's the UFC. I feel like whoever's in the top 3, they just keep them there, or the top 5. You know what I mean? It's like they lose to the champion. It's like they just stay right there. If someone like in my position, if I lost a fight, I guarantee they're kicking me out of the rankings. You know what I mean? It's just it's the UFC. So I have no idea. I have no. It's frustrating. It's just been like that for a long time. So it's like, I've asked for things. I've never got any fights I've asked for. So, I'm down to be the gatekeeper. Screw it. Just sign me a big contract that's guaranteed money, and I'll fight everybody making their debuts. That's what it's about for me, is just the money.
Arnold Allen, man, a guy I think you and him are probably on the longest winning streaks in the top 10. Maybe Bryce Mitchell as well. But yeah, he had a huge win the other weekend against Dan Hooker. A crazy barn burner. Did you expect that type of fight from Arnold Allen?
Yeah, like I had some people betting, or some friends, they were like, hey, I'm going big on Hooker, and and I was like, I can see that winning. I said I would stay away from that fight. You know what I mean? Because I said the guys are both so good. Like, I know Arnold Allen's really good. Obviously Dan Hooker's really good, but I just didn't know with the weight cut and everything, because Hooker's a big 55er. You know what I mean? He's a relatively big guy at lightweight, and so him coming down to 145, but he's been there in the past. He's been working on getting his weight down for a long time. So, but it's just like it's a pick 'em. You know what I mean? I feel like I could see how Hooker could dominate the fight, and then I could see Arnold Allen. So I was just telling my friends, like, hey, just maybe stay away from that fight, because both guys are so damn good, and I could see them both winning. And then Arnold Allen just came out the gates, and he did get clipped, though. It was an amazing fight, and it was exciting while it lasted.
It was very exciting, and after that, Allen, he calls out Calvin Kattar. And I'm surprised he didn't throw your name in the mix, of guys he wanted to fight, man. Why are guys not calling you out? Like, you do have a streak yourself.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't ever, I don't know, people don't call me out, and I think it's hard so I'm thinking about this, like, why can't I get these guys in front of me? It's because I feel like it's a dangerous fight. What does someone in front of me have to gain off of me? Really nothing. They know it's going to be a tough fight. They know it's a dangerous fight. But then that's why these guys behind me, like, they'll take the fight because they're going to make a name off me. They're going to move up in the rankings, but they still know it's going to be a dangerous fight, and I always say yes. So that's why it's just kind of tough. I feel like I got to just put my foot down and say no. But it's like, man, I want to be active. I feel like I've lost so much with, like, the few major injuries I've had. I've had a lot of injuries in my career in the UFC, but I've had 2 major injuries, one that sidelined me for 13 months and the other one sidelined me for 18 months. So I want to be active, man. So that's why it's hard for me to say no.
It's not like, you went on a losing streak because of injuries or anything like that, man. You come back and you win fights. You know what I mean? It's hard to argue wins. Against wins. Against the wins. It's hard to argue against wins. Like, you go in there and you win a fight in exciting fashion. Like Arnold Allen was in that position, man. And they kind of, like, I don't know if they gifted him Dan Hooker, but they gave him Dan Hooker, man. And Dan Hooker, vice versa, he's a guy that will just fight anybody, you know what I mean, as long as the situation's right. So I think you need someone like that, right, to come along right now
Yeah,
in this position.
there's only a few guys in front of me, and then it's also like they are all booked. You know what I mean? It's like Zombie and Volkanovski are fighting, Yair and Ortega, and then Cater just fought with Giga, and they had that crazy war. So he's probably not going to want to fight till later in the year. So there's one person available. It's Holloway, and then it's like I can't knock him for like wanting to wait for his title fight. He was going to fight in the for his the trilogy, and then he got injured, and then they pushed the date back, and then he wanted that fight back, and then so it's like I can't knock him for that. It's like it's just a shitty position I'm in. I can't.
Well, I guess, when you look at the top 10 or top 15, you got to look at a guy that's probably surging, has some hype. And I'm thinking Bryce Mitchell. I'm thinking that's a guy that a lot of people have their attention on. Would that be something that you would be interested in? Just as, like you said, Max's doesn't want to fight. He's waiting. Other guys are booked. Do you think that would be a good fight?
Like down the line, it's the same thing. It's like everyone or people are coming off of losses or they have fights. It's like he would be the only other available person. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I feel like every fight, like it does nothing for me. You know what I mean? Like it does. It gets more eyes on me, but then it's like I don't have a whole lot to gain. You know what I mean? Like he has everything to gain. Like he'd move up in the rankings if he won. If I won, I just stay where I'm at. Like always. And then after like 2-3 weeks go by and there's another featherweight fight that's exciting, then they forget about my win and then they move me back in the rankings further and just plug those other guys in front of me. It's just how it's been my whole career. I fought one guy that's ranked in front of me at featherweight.
And they just did that to you with Arnold Allen. I just saw the rankings and they pushed you back one and then they pushed him
Yeah,
to
they just
number
flip flop.
6. Yeah. The rankings, man.
Yeah,
Only...
it's never been anything. Like I said, I fought one guy in the UFC ranked in front of me, and that was Ricardo Lamas.
Man, it's nuts, man. Like how I don't even know if it's really like the politics of the sport, but it's just sometimes you just gotta fight.
Yeah, I think it's just the timing, and that's one thing that I've always done, man. Yeah. So we'll see. Like I'm just gonna sit back and wait to hear from my manager and see what Dana and Sean who they want me to fight, and then just kind of take it from there.
All right. Well, let's go back to early January, man, when they announced Volkanovski and Holloway 3, and then the next day, pretty much, Holloway had pulled out with an injury. What was going through your mind when all of this was going down?
Yeah, well, that was going down. It's like obviously we knew it was coming. It's like they. Volkanovski won twice. There's a little controversy behind the second fight, people think, and then you saw Max fight Cater, and then he fought Yair, and he's already, like I said, arguably one of the best featherweights of all time, and then he just looks better and better each fight. So how can they not give him another shot, And then just like you said, the second day, it's like after they announced it, he had to pull out due to injury, and then I was just like, man, I want that fight. That's my opportunity, And so I hit up my manager and I was like, hey, I want that fight. And he's like, yeah, you're already in the talks. And so I was like, okay, I was excited about it, and I was really thinking that this could be my shot, and then it didn't work out. So it's then I'm just back to square one, just getting back in the gym and doing my things. And yeah, just that's about it, man. Nothing too crazy.
Was that weird to you though, that they announced the title fight and then days later, like he had to pull out?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I thought about it, but then I was like, I have no idea, kind of like what goes on behind the scenes. I know sometimes they announced fights, like they did that with me once. You know what I mean? They announced Barboza and I fighting, and then my phone was blowing up, and I was like, they never even asked me about that fight. I never got a bout or nothing. So I was just like, shit, I won't be there. And so I don't know if it was something like that. Maybe they announced it and there was no agreement or no contract. I have really no idea what that was about, but I could see something like that happening. Or maybe that was the case. And then who knows, maybe Max re-injured something like something that's been bothering him in training and just pulled out right away, because if he's hurt something before, maybe he knew it would be a long recovery or something, and he wouldn't be able to train the way he needs to or be able to fight in 2 months.
Yeah, and taking a trilogy, when you lost the first two fights, you have to make sure that everything's aligned perfectly so you can go in there and win that fight. Because if you lose a third time, there's no arguing for a fourth fight, right?
Yeah. Well, is the Moreno, Figueroa, Davidson, are they fighting for the fourth time?
Yeah, but the first one was a draw, and then they have one win each. So I think that would be justifiable. And they went to war all three times, which is pretty nuts. Going back to you, we saw Dan Hooker, he fought at featherweight for a while, and then he just decided, maybe there's better matchups at lightweight. And when he got up to lightweight, he found huge opportunities, right? He fought Poirier, Felder, a lot of main events. Do you feel like maybe you might want to test those waters, man? And because could you do that in a short notice fight, a lightweight fight?
Yeah, I could do that. It would still, I need a few weeks. Like, I don't think I could do it on like a 10-day notice or something. It's kind of a hard cut to get down to 55s. But yeah, no, I've thought about that. I've even said stuff in the past just because, I was fighting on the regional scene at 155. I was a lightweight champion. And then my first 3 fights in the UFC were at 155. So yeah, I've thought about going up and down. And then I saw Ilya Tabira, or however you pronounce his last name. I saw he just fought at 55. I've always been saying that, like, I'll go up and fight at 55s with someone, if there's no one available for me, you might as well.
Yeah. Bro, it doesn't change your status as a featherweight, I don't believe.
Yeah. I don't think then it's like really not a whole lot of, risk. There is risk, obviously, because I only want to go in there and win, and don't want to get injured, but it's, I would definitely be open to that.
Maybe they will give you Patty the Batty or somebody. Like, they throw him the deep end.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Yeah, man, it's just it's just crazy, like how the matchmaking is so. I don't know. I don't want to say it's slow, but it seems like it's slow, man. At the top of the featherweight division, like they're just not putting fights together as quick.
No, and that's exactly why it's just challenging, because it's like as soon as I finished my fight, I was like, okay, I took till mid-January off. I'm like, I want to fight in March or April. Like, I wanted to fight on that March 5th card because it's my birthday's on the 4th, so I've always wanted to fight on that card in Vegas. But then it's just, or you see what's going on with the division. It's just, I don't know. There's not a lot of availability, I guess you can say, and so that's why I'm sitting on the sideline. Maybe I will have to go up to 55. I could take a short notice 70 fight.
There's a lot of those up there too, probably. It's just it's very odd, and it's not like Volkanovski's like, waiting for money fights or anything like that. He's fighting the next guy that's coming along, and he's ready to fight continuously too. So it's bound to happen, man. They're gonna put you against somebody because they always put you against somebody, and it's gonna be fun no matter what. Whenever you return. I just wanted to touch on something before I let you go about the unfortunate news of your boxing coach, Joey Rodriguez and his daughter, man. Can you tell us more about that and how people can help out with it?
Yeah, he's man, super sad. It's like for the past like few weeks, it's crazy because their daughter Angie, she's, like I said, she's a super healthy, smart, sweet girl, and like just healthy all around. And then like a few weeks ago, she started having like just some lumps. So they were looking at them as her lymph nodes were swollen, and so they took her to the doctor the very next day. They were looking at what was going on. They did blood tests, and then the blood panel came back clear. Like, they're like, oh, everything's good, like nothing to worry about. And then Joey was like, obviously something's going on. So then they took her to a really good hospital in Sacramento, Sutter, the next day. And then the doctors, checked her out and started doing multiple tests, and then they admitted her to the hospital. And then she went through just a few procedures, and they removed a mass and they did a biopsy on it. And then it came back just that she has stage 3 lymphoma. And then today they were going in there to do another test, and then they were going to start aggressive treatment today. So she's 15 years old. It's like, kids don't need to go through that. It's like, she's so innocent. It's just sad. And so, even the Joey, he's such a loyal, like, he's such a good guy. And I know they're going to need help, like their family. And so, I just, he's a private guy too, but it's like, at some point it's like, you're going to need the help. So I just created a GoFundMe, and I put it on my Instagram. It's on some stories, like everyone's starting to post it. The MMA community is awesome in that sense. And everyone's kind of stepping up and donating money. And this is just kind of the first like batch of things. I've been talking to a lot of people, and we're going to start doing some big like fundraisers, whether a bunch of us at Team Alpha Male, we host some seminars, and all the proceeds will go to Joey and his family. We're going to do some silent auction stuff. I'm going to talk to some local restaurants and other businesses and see if we can get some, just help from the community. Sacramento has a phenomenal community, and it's a big city, but it's a little small town vibe, and everyone kind of helps each other out. So it's, we're definitely going to, take care of Angie, Joey, Luisa, and their family.
Yeah, man, it's great to see the community coming together, with a lot of stuff that's going on in MMA right now. We always want to hear the positive stuff, right? People helping people out, and it's great to see. Josh, man, I hope they call you tomorrow, man. We do this, and tomorrow they're like, Josh, we got to fight March, April, whatever, you know what I mean?
As long as, I would like that's what I'm saying, because I was trying to fight, they were talking about April 3rd, then May 7th, or April 30th, and then May 7th. And then I'm just like, I want to know who I'm fighting. Like, so I know like what style of fighter, like what I need to train more in, you know what I mean? Like, or so I can put a game plan together. It's like, otherwise it's like I have a 4.5 week hard camp, and then it's, I taper down. And so it's like, I'm not going to, I want 8 weeks at least, you know what I mean? 8 weeks to know who I'm fighting. That's all I ask for.
All right, man. Well, hopefully,
maybe
man.
May.
Yeah.
I said maybe the end of May. I'm in.